Well, welcome to the Botanical Medicine Study course with me, your host and instructor for the online class in all things botanical medicine. If you would like to be the first on your blog to know most of what is available in terms of practice, science, and application of botanical medicine, click below, which is the combo word for click and link, and you will be directed to a form which has another link to download the introductory video and handouts. A special thanks to my new subscribers and all of you who comment, like, and share these videos. It really does help spread the word. Now, it seems as if summer is in full screening onset this year in the Northern Hemisphere, with high temperatures and wild weather. But one of the more delightful aspects of summer is it is berry season. And for this week's Herb of the Week, we will be exploring another gift from nature that has both nutritional and medicinal qualities, blueberry. Blueberries are also known as Vaccinium corybosum in Latin, and these have been consumed for centuries by native North Americans and cultivated for over 100 years on farms and in home gardens. Blueberries are widely distributed and a widespread group of perennial flowering plants with blue or purple berries. They're also classified in the section of Cyanococcus with the genus Vaccinium. And Vaccinium is essentially a Latin word which means berry of a certain type. Now, Vaccinium also includes things like cranberries, bilberries, huckleberries, and Madeira blueberries. And I've never seen a Madeira blueberry, but apparently this is part of the Vaccinium family. Now, commercial blueberries, both wild, which are called low bush berries, and cultivated, which are called high bush blueberries, are all native to North America. The high bush varieties were introduced into Europe during the 1930s. Now, global production of this high bush variety has skyrocketed in the last 15 years, and it's mainly because of the health benefits that these delicious and versatile berries are so widely planted and enjoyed around the world. Now, blueberries are low in fat and sodium, and they're an excellent source of fiber, manganese, and vitamin C and K, among other things. Wild blueberries are reproduced by mainly through cross-pollination, with each seed producing a plant with a different genetic composition. And this means there's all kinds of different genetic compositions within the same species. And this can alter differences in growth, productivity, color, leaf characteristics, and disease resistance. But for us, it's mostly alters flavor. So that's why we should care about that. Now, the mother plant, I think this is really interesting. The mother plant develops underground stems, which are called rhizomes. And this allows the plant to form a network of rhizomes, creating a large patch, which is called a clone, which is genetically distinct. I think that's a neat term, a clone for genetically distinct patches of blueberries. Now, floral and leaf buds developed intermittently along the stems of the plant, with each floral bud giving rise to 5 to 6 flowers and the eventual fruit. Wild blueberries prefer an acidic soil and only moderate amounts of moisture, and they have a hardy cold tolerance in their Canadian range in the US state of Maine. And the two main blueberries, not the state, it's MAIN, the Oregon type, Oregon grows tons of blueberries. In fact, when I was in naturopathic school, when I was in summer clinic, I lived on blueberries, asparagus, salmon, and basil. And when I lived there, which was a long time ago, the blueberries were sold in like mountains of blueberries. Whereas growing up in Southern California, I could only get little teeny boxes of blueberries that were very expensive. So I had a wonderful summer up there. But the blueberries that are typical of the Northwest are plump. They're big, round, and plump, whereas the Maine blueberries on the, on the Northeast from the state of Maine are very little. They're little blueberries, and both are delicious. So that's the big difference. Now, the flowers are really pretty, as you can see, and I sometimes wonder if they're called bluebells, even though they're white, but they're on the blueberry plant and they look like bells. The flowers are like most fruiting plants in that they're the hint of things to come. And what is interesting is that these flowers bloom in what we would consider very cold weather, below freezing. And when the petals fall off, then the berries come. Now, blueberries are one of nature's gifts that have both medicinal and nutritional values, and both the fruit and the leaves are prized for nutritional and culinary use. They're high in fiber, high in antioxidants, and there's studies that say the eating a lot of blueberries on a regular basis reduces DNA damage. I don't know how they test this, but apparently this is what blueberries do, which help prevent cancer. If DNA is damaged, then it can't tell the cells what to do properly, and that's when the cancer starts growing. So if we can reduce this damage, then we can prevent cancer. The other thing blueberries do is they protect cholesterol from oxidizing. And it's not the cholesterol that's the bugaboo. A little known publicized fact is that half of all strokes and heart attacks in the United States happen to people who have low or healthy cholesterol. So what's the deal there? And it's not because of high cholesterol. It's because the cholesterol is being oxidized. Cholesterol is like a natural Band-Aid in your system. If there's a tear in a blood vessel, cholesterol comes and kind of patches that up. But if it gets oxidized and it gets sclerotic, and that's when the problem happens. So if you eat a ton of blueberries, this will help your cholesterol from becoming oxysterol and then deadly. Now, blueberries also help brain and heart health, and they have anti-diabetic effects. And a 1 cup serving of blueberries, which is about 150 grams, will give you 3.6 grams of fiber. It's much more pleasurable than eating flax seeds or psyllium seeds. Husks. It's very high in vitamin C. You get 16% of your daily requirement of vitamin C from these berries. Vitamin K, you get 24% of your vitamin K requirement and 22% of your daily requirement of manganese. Now, this substance in blueberries that's so healing, that gives all these amazing qualities, anti-diabetes, helps in heart health, prevents cancer, et cetera, are the anthocyanins. And you've heard me talk about these quite a few times. And these are the substances that make multicolored diets so pretty. So it turns things orange and blue and purple and red, yellow. That's what provides the nutritional protective element in there. So blueberries provide moderate amounts of sugar compared to other fruits. But it's the bioactive compounds in blueberries that appear to outweigh any negative impact of the sugar in the fruit when it comes to managing blood sugar. And research suggests that anthocyanins in blueberries, this little thing you see on your screen there, which if you've taken organic chemistry, you are probably twitching right now, remembering your tests. But anyways, this substance has beneficial effects on insulin sensitivity and glucose metabolism. And the problem with diabetes, either type 1 or type 2, is the receptors on cells don't know what to do with the insulin or the glucose. And if you gain a lot of weight, you reduce your sensitivity to these receptors on your cells. And that's when you develop type 2 or metabolic syndrome or insulin resistant, all those not so great things. And what blueberries do is they help reset those with these anthocyanins so that your body knows what to do with insulin and with glucose. Now, there has been research, and one study showed that 2 blueberry smoothies daily caused major improvements to insulin sensitivity. Now, I'm sure they weren't mixing this up with ice cream, but that to me is very, very impressive. And they've noticed that improvements in blood sugar and insulin sensitivity happens with both fresh and freeze-dried berries. And the freeze-dried berries, you can get them, bulk, but you can also buy the freeze-dried berries in powdered forms. And improved insulin sensitivity may lower the risk of metabolic syndrome and type 2 diabetes. So this is a really powerful little substance that's inside delicious blueberries. Now, for those of you who are up on available natural supplements, you will notice there are different formulas on names of various products. And that's why you need to know your Latin. And it's also can be a little confusing to know, well, what exactly is in this supplement and what is it good for, and why are these words spelled differently. And this is very true when it comes to the blueberry versus bilberry. So what are the differences? Now, blueberry and bilberry may look alike externally. You can tell the bilberry is a little darker and the blueberry has more of a white kind of film on it. But there's very important differences. And most of us are familiar with blueberry. It's the Vaccinium corymbosum. And this, as we know, is widely cultivated in North America and also all over the world. But bilberry, which is Vaccinium myrtillus, is a wild species, and it's native to the northern forests of Europe. And bilberry is also known as wild blueberry, which will be even more confusing, which is why you need to know what your Latin is. Vaccinium myrtillus for bilberry. And this is why various supplements are unavailable, because these berries have to be picked in the wild. And some supplements are unavailable at certain times of the year. And also they can be very expensive. Now you can see these cross section of the bilberry, which is to the left, versus the blueberry, which is to the right. They have similar outer appearances. The inner flesh reveals that there's a stark difference. Bilberry has a much higher concentration of anthocyanins, that amazing healing substance in the prior slide. And this is why the flesh is red, as opposed to the kind of pale color of the blueberry. And the bilberries have stronger taste than blueberry. And in the language of the wonderful worlds of supplements, the main difference is that blueberry is more good for your heart health and sugar metabolism, while bilberry is used more in supplements for vision care. And bilberry has some very good research and also anecdotal, testimonials that it's been suggested as a treatment for retinopathy. And retinopathy is the fancy word for damage to the retina, which is the back part of your eye that you need to see, because these anthocyanins are in such high concentration and they appear to help protect the retina. And bilberry is also exhibited to protect the eye against macular degeneration, glaucoma, and cataracts. And I've had testimonials of patients that can swear by this. So definitely, if you're afraid of these things, this is a good supplement to take, the bilberry. Now, the leaf is amazing as well. And the leaf of the blueberry has a long history of use for various things. And it also has a nice taste, if you ask me, especially in the tea form. It sort of tastes like black tea, but it doesn't have the caffeine. And blueberry leaves contain tannins, flavonoids, anthocyanins, bioflavonoids. It does have a little bit of sugars in there, natural sugars, vitamin A, B, C, elements, trace elements such as potassium, phosphorus, magnesium, iron, sulfur, calcium. And blueberries leaves help bring down body temperature and normalize the bowel function during various attacks of chronic diseases of the gastrointestinal tract. So that's a lovely sentence that says if you have irritable bowel syndrome, this is a good tea to drink. The blueberry leaf is useful for diabetes. It helps regulate blood glucose concentration. And it's, again, these antioxidants and anthocyanins that help it have anti-inflammatory effects. It actually helps lower blood pressure. It lowers triglycerides. In some studies, it says that it can lower triglycerides, which are basically blood fat. That's what this word means. It can lower it up to 40%. It helps, it's an anti-inflammatory, which means it helps with joint pain. Also, because it's an anti-inflammatory, it helps with allergy symptoms, making them less strong. It lowers blood sugar significantly. It can lower it up to 27%. So this is very good to drink if you are having blood sugar metabolism issues. If you're trying to lose weight, if you're afraid your body's going into type 2 diabetes or metabolic syndrome, insulin insensitivity, this is a good tea to drink. And the astringent qualities is from all the tannins, so it's good for any sort of urinary tract issue. Now, if you're like me, I simply love to eat these things by the handfuls. And again, when I lived up in Oregon, I don't know what it's like now, but during the summer, it was like they were coming out of the woodwork. It was just amazing the amount of blueberries that were available. So I love to eat these things by the handful. I have a dear friend that lives in the Seattle area, and her house had quite a few bushes around her, and she would simply pick them each day to add to her morning oatmeal or smoothies. So it was really fun visiting her, especially in the summer. But if the blueberries are difficult to get for you, there are always supplements, and you can get solid extract. There's an amazing solid extract by Herbalist and Alchemist. It combines blueberries and bilberries, and you can also get the extract in liquid form or in gel caps. And there are also blueberry powders available on the market, and those are really nice, especially if you like to drink smoothies. Let's say you're going on a kale smoothie kick, you can put in some blueberry powder to make it taste less like kale, which I like kale. Now, the blueberry leaf supplements, they come in bulk dried leaves or in tinctures or in capsules. Now, I'm not aware of any contradictions with this herb or any cautions, but if you are on any sort of drug regimen to lower your blood sugar, make sure to inform your physician that you're taking this supplement. I don't think there's a problem, but I can't tell you for sure. So just tell your doctor or your pharmacist. Now, what isn't delicious with blueberries? I mean, I can't think of anything. Now, keep in mind, eating plain blueberries is where the health aspects are. And most blueberry recipes for things that are cooked are filled with things like cream cheese, sour cream, butter, and sugar. So not exactly heart healthy stuff. And the blueberries are not going to cancel out the cholesterol, sugar, and fat. So there you go. But oh wow, anything with blueberries is simply delicious. And a nice way to eat raw blueberries is to throw them into your spinach salads. It's really delicious. A cousin of mine introduced me to that, and oh, it's really yummy. And you can make blueberry vinegar and all kinds of yummy stuff. So fresh, frozen, or dried blueberries work well in most recipes. Now, if you want to grow your own blueberries, the Vaccinium corybosum, or the high bush blueberry, is the most common type of blueberry grown in the United States. And if you live in zones 3 to 8, they are native to much of Eastern North America, but can be found growing in most places that have moist, acidic soils. Now, the northern high bush blueberries were the first type of blueberry to be cultivated in a traditional farm setting and hybridized. And these efforts, as we said, started in the early 1900s. They spread to Europe in the 1930s, and they continue to this day. There are high bush blueberries and low bush blueberries, which are the heirloom kind. And I suggest getting seedlings from your local nursery to see what is best for your particular environment and what it is that you want to do. Do you want to grow them in the ground, or do you want to grow them in pots? And both ways are wonderful, but you need to be in the right zone for the in-ground types. Now, there's a link in the program notes on how you can grow these delicious, nutritious, healing plants in your own backyard. So however you want to incorporate this amazing gift of nature into your life through eating and cooking in your garden or as supplements, I hope you are inspired to take a long look at blueberry and feel the gratitude that I do as to how nature provides us with the most delicious ways to be healthy. This is Stephanie Georgiev saying thanks for spending your valuable time with me. Link below for the free introductory herbal lesson video and handouts. And until next time, be well.